Alright, and I'm back with another review for you guys, and this time we got a McFarlane Toys Spawn. It's a 30 years Platinum Edition. I don't know. I could have better packaging to really tell you what's going on with it, because it's very confusing if you had never seen any ads or, stuff like this online. But it does tell you some stuff on the back, but if you're one that's like mine, you wouldn't be able to look at this because it's behind a case anyways, so. But it's based off a little drawing he did before Spawn was even a concept, apparently. Which is also kind of insane that he decided to make a whole little figure off that, which, I don't know, cool, I guess. Apparently he's supposed to be a space guy. That's essentially what he's going for, is because blue means space. I apologize for my lack of enthusiasm. I got this figure kind of on a whim because I wanted to Spawn, and I knew this wasn't going to hold me on forever because this is not, Spawn, but I guess it is, but whatever, man. Let's go ahead and get him open. I will say the packaging is kind of cool for something like if you kept him in box, like the gold trim and whatever, but we're not doing that, so let's go ahead and get him open. Is the figure in good shape? Does the figure function as intended? Everything that's included with the figure, plus scaling, and then just my final thoughts. Usually a little pose at the end when I'm talking about it too, unless I forget. Alright, and here he is at a package, and is the figure in good shape? I can't find any paint issues with him. His shoulders, however, are pretty loose, and I think he has kind of the wonky leg syndrome that I've mostly seen it with McFarlane's, but one leg, I don't know if it's a joint or maybe it's a peg not going into a part not far enough, but one leg will be just slightly longer than the other, and it really messes up vanilla standing poses. Anyways, besides that, it looks really, really good, actually. One thing I always say about McFarlane's, even if I'm saying bad things about them, they do look really good. Even these simple skulls, actually pretty good little line work on them and stuff like that. He looks good. Does the figure function as intended? First of all, that's not the best looking up, but he's definitely looking up, so I'll give him that. He looked down really far though, and that's honestly almost more important, so that's good. And you can get a lot of range out of him. You don't really need all that for a Spawn, but you have it, and that's cool. So let me see if I can get that all the way up without using the butterfly. So without the butterfly, it's about there. Go a little, about a T-pose, not bad. There's a butterfly. That'll get you a little bit over, but not really too much. It'll honestly probably do more for you going back, or I don't know. It doesn't really do all that much with the way McFarlane toys are designed, but whatever. He does have bicep. Excuse the toilet flushing if you guys could hear that. Pretty good bend. One thing I will say about McFarlane's is I do like the way the joints generally tend to work, is they always come to a complete full bend, both sides of the joints usually. I feel yeah, they see, pretty deep end, pretty good. That's one thing I will give him. He's pretty good about that. And then he's got these partially pinless wrist joints that he does, which I remember when he implemented those. I still don't really like them. I think he started implementing them around when they did the Nightfall Batman, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, you guys see what I'm saying? It's even worse now that I've been messing with him. But anyway, sorry. So I wanted it to be further, but that's the bend. I'm really trying to give it something, but that's all you get. Now, the weird thing about McFarlane's though, he loves to make sure they can bend backwards. I don't get it, but, and then we get a little bit of tilt, nothing crazy. He gets a little bit of turn up here. I wouldn't push it any further than I was just doing, but your figure if you buy it, man. already going to tell you right now, I wouldn't recommend buying him, but whatever. Not to sound completely disappointed, because I am already impressed by some things, like what I'm showing you right here. Look at this. It's got a pretty good kick, and this is like a really thin, it might rip, I'm not gonna lie, but it's softer, and I think it would be less likely to damage from doing stuff like this. But you're definitely not going to want to leave him in poses for too long, or at least crazy ones like that. He doesn't have a thigh swivel, but he does have a little bit of twist, so you can do a little bit. Crunchy. Deep bend. Got my finger a little bit. No boot swivel. Decent bend. Crazy toe bend. Oh, also, I got a new light. I hope you guys are enjoying the new lighting. If you have any tips on maybe the coloring, like if you guys don't like this, let me know. I tried to go for more of a neutral white color because I figured that would be the best, but I don't know. But yeah, I'll say for McFarlane, you know, he functions as intended. Maybe just slightly better than some of the other ones. I'm not impressed by any means, but he is a little bit better. He's kind of cool. Yeah. So everything that's included with him, though, you got these two little, I don't know what they are. Since technically he's a spaceman, I don't know if these are still plasma effects or what, but they don't go on his hands. He grips them like a gun. He only has one fist in him, by the way, too. And then what's also cool is he only comes with one of this hand, which seems like the kind of thing you'd want two of. And then he's got another gripping hand, so at least you can hold both of those, so that's nice. And then you got your shiny card that comes with it. And a stand, which flight stands are cooler, but still better than nothing. Also, sorry to throw this around, it is cooler than your average one because it is shiny, but who cares? Like, who cares about these? Stop. I know he's losing the DC license anyways, but little Tipperoo McFarlane just stopped doing these. Nobody really likes them. They're just not ever going to take off. But let's do some scaling with him. Here he is with the Nightfall Batman. Perhaps a good little time to mention that also McFarlane Toys has one of the worst ankle joint systems I have ever had the displeasure of dealing with. Sometimes they're okay, but they're often the detents are in the incorrect places, so you can't get them to quite stand like in a vanilla pose properly. He's just barely holding this without having a weird like lean forward. Like, it's frustrating. Here he is with what I and some other people might argue is one of the best McFarlane Toys figures ever made, at least as far as, you know, being decently articulated. The Black Mana Page Punters, which I consider them to be DC Multiverse because the same articulation, you know, they're DC, but they're Page Punchers. But yeah, they look pretty cool together. He's pretty tall. That ankle problem, it's even worse on this Raven Spawn. But here he is with Raven Spawn, which they look pretty cool together too. Bro, get it together. What are you gonna do when you lose the DC IP? You're just gonna go broke? Like, please make better figures, because I feel like once he loses the benefit of having like a big popular brand like DC, all he's really got is Spawn and maybe a few other things. And maybe people will finally start to be like, yo, this happens way too often. Like, why won't you fix the ab crunch? Why can flying characters not look up? Like, it's just, come on, dude. But it does look pretty good though, I will say. It looks pretty good. But yeah. Let's go ahead and do my final thoughts. Okay, so let's be honest. He's pretty photogenic, like, especially if you're someone who's good at posing. Yeah, you were going to get some good poses off of him. I'm just saying overall, like, your average Mobile Legend, aside from the toe articulation, is outposing him. But he, you know, I'm slightly impressed. Not enough to have any interest in recollecting McFarlane's, but let me say this, if he scales him down to like 1/12, fixes ab crunch, I'm in. Like, that's all he has to do. But anyways, if you do like McFarlane's, you'll probably love this guy. I won't lie to you. If you don't like McFarlane's, do not pick him up. It's not going to sway you. I can nearly promise you. And if you're getting into figures, you might like McFarlane's, you might not. You'll have to find out. I recommend going to Ross and maybe seeing if you can find someone, discount and go from there. That's really a good way to start collecting in general, is go to Ross and like get someone discount, see what you like. Except for high-ends, I can't help you there. But I hope this was informative. I hope it helps you decide whether or not you maybe want to pick this guy up if you see him. He was at my Walmart for a long time. It probably is at yours maybe, but I think that's it.